Right, so it's one of those classes where you're guaranteed to get something that you like. So a little bit of everything, well-rounded flow class. So start lying down on your back to begin with. And just straight away, just connect to your breathing, in and out through your nose. Make it rhythmic and even. And then just as you continue to lie here, get your breath to be longer and longer and longer, both the inhales and exhales mirroring each other. And I always talk about this, but if you want to learn strength, if you want to learn all those things that require strength and stability, you have to go slowly, and so your breath needs to be really long in order to accommodate that. And then that's enough lying here. You're going to hug your knees in now. Oh, Janice is moaning already. Don't moan. All right, and then with your knees hugged in, just drop them to the left. You can shift your hips a little to the right. Reach your right arm out to the side into a twist. You can look over your right shoulder, and you don't need to do any sort of activation here. You're just using gravity at the start. All right, and then come back up and go the other direction. And hips a little to the left, knees to the right. Go over your left shoulder. Good. And then come back up. Place your feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then grab the back of your left thigh for thread the needle. And just pull that in softly. So you don't have to pull it in as tightly as you would at the end of class. You're not warm yet. So start a little bit slack. Flex your right ankle, pulling the toes straight back towards your kneecap. Low back, pelvis flat on the mat. Collarbones wide. And then maybe pull your left thigh a little tighter. And then switch legs. Put your feet on the floor. Opposite ankle, opposite knee. Pull it in. All right. And then once you have it, again, just soft at the beginning. Get your tailbone to feel like it's releasing down, your chest to stay wide, and then consider pulling it in a little closer. Good. All right. And then just hug your knees into your chest. Rock up to seated. Place your fingertips beside you and pick yourself up into Malasana. So put your feet on the floor, feet just wider than your hips, turn your toes to the side. Have your knees and toes facing the same direction, and you can bring your hands to your heart. So if this is too much, you can roll the back edge of your mat up or the front edge of your mat up and put your heels on it. You can also sit on a block or keep your hands on the floor if that's a little bit better. And then allow your arms to press into your knees, but take them no wider than the same direction your second toe is facing. Hug your sit bones together at the same time, keeping the knees in the same line, and then chest wide from there. And then bring your hands down to the mat. Turn your toes in so your feet are parallel. Fold forward with bent knees and hug your elbows. So grab the opposite elbow. Start with a good, generous amount of bend in your knees. Just weight evenly distributed from inner to outer foot, front to back. And then spine long, elbows heavy. And then maybe start to straighten your legs out as you breathe in and out. Very nice. And then release your hands down and step yourself back into downward facing dog. All right. So once you're in down dog, just start still right away today. So press your hands evenly. Keep the inner hand a little bit extra, keep it with a little bit of extra grounding there. And then wrap your outer arms down towards the floor. And then firm your arms together. Keep your ears and your upper arms in one line. Think about pulling your upper back into your chest and then stretching your tailbone straight back from the heel of your hands so that you have that same long line from your hands all the way through your pelvis. And then thighs back and heels down. And then step your right foot just 3 inches or so forward. Bend your left knee, straighten your right leg out, and drive your heel down behind your second toe. And then your right hip, it wants to kind of jut out to the side as you do this. So keep firming the outer right thigh bone in so your hips are level. And then step yourself back into down dog and bring your left foot a few inches forward. Bend your right knee and send your left heel straight down. And then hug your left thigh bone in so that your right hip and left hip are in line. And then step yourself back into downward facing dog. And inhale, come forward into plank pose. Shoulders over your wrists. Push the floor down with your hands. Take the upper back up towards the ceiling some, pull your belly in. Almost that kind of effort of rounding the whole spine somewhat. And then legs really straight and heels back. And now hold on to everything from your waist through your legs, but widen your collarbones so that your shoulders are back and your chest is broad. And then shift forward, keep your neck long, shoulders beyond your wrists. Exhale halfway down into chaturanga. Inhale, in one line, come up into plank pose. Exhale, pull yourself back into downward facing dog. And then inhale, come forward to plank pose. Just one more time. Exhale, lower slowly, halfway down. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, hips up and back. Walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Bend your knees or keep them straight if your hamstrings are ready, and then stretch your arms up and over. Okay, keep your shoulders up away from your ears. Maybe press your palms together. And then if you're really rounding your back, it's going to be very hard to get into your shoulders here. So bend your knees enough that your upper back moves through towards your inner thighs and your spine lengthens out. And then bring your hands back down to your low back. Change the lacing of your fingers, move them one over, and then stretch your arms up and over again. And then as you're here, your legs might allow you to straighten them a little bit more without changing your spine. If they do, fine. If they don't worry about it. And then release your hands down to the mat under your shoulders. Inhale, chest wide, look slightly forward. Hug your legs together and pull your belly in as you exhale and your hands to your hips. And then with a flat back, inhale, come all the way up. Okay, step all the way to the front. Bring your feet together. Join your hands together in front of your heart as well. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side, stretch them up alongside your ears. Exhale, fold forward and down into Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, chest wide and look forward. And then exhale, step your left leg back. Okay. And then come up high onto your fingertips. Press your back leg straight. And then lift your hip points and your rib cage an inch or so off your right thigh. And bring your arms alongside your body with your palms facing the floor. Widen the collarbones. Press your left heel back. Pull your sternum forward. Hug the thighs together with your right knee facing straight ahead. And then bring your hands down. Step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Inhale, chest wide, look forward. Exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, come up to standing, arms up. And then exhale, join your hands together. Okay, second side, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, chest wide. And then exhale, send your right leg back, feet hip distance. Straighten the back leg out, pull your abdomen in, arch the upper back, and then hover your hip points, your belly, your chest, an inch off your thigh, arms alongside of you again. Okay. Keep pressing the left hip crease towards your right heel, left knee straight ahead. Hold all of that, shoulder heads up and wide. Good. And then bring your hands down, step your right foot forward, feet together, inhale, chest up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come back up to standing, arms alongside your ears. And exhale, hands to your heart. It's your Namaskar A. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, collarbones wide and look up. Exhale, step into plank pose. Take an inhale, and then exhale, shift and lower halfway into chaturanga. Flip your toes, inhale, either cobra or straighten your arms and legs into upward facing dog. Just take 2 extra breaths. Shoulders way down your back away from your ears, toes reaching back. And then as your tailbone reaches back, lift your sternum up to your chin. And then exhale, roll over your toes, push back into downward facing dog and pause. So hands pressing evenly, heels drawing down. But then where you're really looking for the length is through your spine. So work the thighs back, the crease of your hips back. And look forward, bring your feet to your hands. Inhale into Ardha. Exhale, fold at your hips. Inhale to come up, arms up overhead. And then exhale, join your hands to your heart. Good. Inhale, arms up again. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, chest wide, look up. Exhale, step or hop into chaturanga, bending your elbows in the air if you're going to do that. Inhale, widen your collarbones, just one breath this time. And then exhale, press yourself back into downward facing dog. The base of your neck feeling relaxed by spinning the outer arms down while grounding through your inner hands. And then to get the weight out of your hands, once you do that, activate your quads, fronts of your thighs, lift them up, fold your quads into the crease of your hips, look forward, bend your knees, and bring your feet to your hands. Inhale, widen and look up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come up with your arms alongside your ears. And then exhale, join your hands together. Inhale, arms up. Good. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, look forward. And then this time, exhale, step your left leg back. Okay. Once your left leg is back, lower your back knee down to the mat. Bring your hands to your right knee and lift yourself up into a low lunge. Draw the belly back, that same thing you were doing when you were hovering your chest, and then send your hips forward, taking your tailbone towards your right heel, and then lifting up and widening through your collarbones. Good. And then bring your hands down to the mat. Curl your back toes under, feet hip distance, and float your back knee up. Inhale, come up into crescent pose, reach your arms alongside your ears. Good. Wrap your outer arms forward and reach them up. And then bend your back knee if you need to do that to access the low belly. Get the hip points rising, the tailbone down, and then you can start with every breath to straighten the back leg a little bit further and a little bit further. Good. And then bring your hands to prayer. Lean halfway forward, plant your left hand down, reach your right arm up and twist to the right. Firm your back thigh, knees straight, heel pressing back, hips level, and you'll have to lift your hips about an inch away from the floor. Right knee, if it's facing straight ahead, you're good to go, and then chest turns open. And then lower your back knee down to the mat. Move it back about 3 or 4 more inches, and if this is already feeling like it's opening your psoas, you can stay here, or with your right hand, reach back and grab your left foot. And once you have hold of it, right knee is going to stay facing dead ahead. There's another version, but we're going to give you the square one today. And then left toes should face straight up to the ceiling. Lovely. And then let go of your back foot. Bring your hands to the mat. Step your back foot forward to the front, feet together. Inhale, chest wide, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing, bring your arms overhead. And then exhale, join your hands together. Inhale, reach your arms up again. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, look forward. Then exhale, right leg back. Once it's back, lower the knee. Bring your hands to your left knee and lift yourself up into a low lunge. So first shift back, hip points up, and then start to shift your pelvis forward, taking your tailbone towards your left heel, keeping your collarbones wide and lifted. And then bring your hands down, curl your back toes under, press up through the back thigh, and inhale, come up into crescent pose and bring your arms all the way up. Okay, so left knee facing straight ahead, bend your back knee if you need, especially if you're really bendy in your lower back. Get that to happen so you can access the low belly, pulling it in and up. Hold on to what that did to your lower back and start to push your back leg straighter. And then reach through your side body as you roll your inner arms towards the back of the mat. And then join your hands together in prayer. Lean forward, press the back leg straight, keep your pelvis lifted slightly away from the floor and twist it. Right arm down, left arm up. And you be on your fingertips. Do whatever you need to do to create space so it doesn't feel like you're sinking. It should feel nice and wide open. Right shoulder away from your ear, left ribs wrapping over your right. Good, Janice. Lovely. And then lower your back knee down and then scoot it back a few inches so you're on your thigh rather than on your kneecap ever. And then grab your back foot with your left hand. And keep your left knee squeezed in. Make sure it stays facing ahead and your right toes face up to the ceiling like an up dog leg. Well, bent up dog leg. That would be, it would not look like this in up dog. That would be scary. But your toes should face up. Just go with me on it, Jim. Just go with me. It's one of those days. I've been talking a lot this week. All right, let go of your back foot. Bring your hands down. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold at your hips. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale into chair pose, arms up. And then exhale, push up, stand. Bring your hands to your heart, mountain pose. Inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips and sit back. Exhale, fold and then straighten. Inhale, look forward, chest wide. And exhale, take a vinyasa through to downward facing dog. All right, and then inhale, come forward into plank pose. Pick your right foot up. Exhale, right knee, left tricep, keeping your shoulders square. Draw the lower belly in. Push your right shoulder head just back so it's in line with your left. Couple of breaths. Use your back leg. And then pull your knee to your nose. Step your foot through to your hands. Spin your back heel flat. Line up heel to heel and inhale. Come up into warrior one. Arms all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Step back and take yourself right through a vinyasa. No holding warrior one today. A shocker, I know. Full of tricks. Right, and then inhale, come forward into plank pose. Exhale, left foot up. Pull it across to your right arm. Shoulders stay square. Drag the lower belly in. Wrap the left ribs to the right. Good. Keep working your back leg. And then bring your knee to your nose. Push the floor down with your hands. Step your foot through. Heel to heel. Back leg straight. One breath up. Warrior one. And exhale, hands down to your mat. Step back and take a vinyasa or right into down dog. Good. And then once you're in down dog, hold. Long, even, smooth breath. And then look forward, bend your knees, step or hop. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, sink your hips, inhale, chair pose. And exhale, push up and stand and bring your hands to your heart. You sound like popcorn popping over there, all that popping and clicking your ankles. Right, inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, chair pose. Like that Jiffy Pop on the stove. Exhale, fold forward. I used to love that when I was a kid. Inhale, chest wide. And exhale, vinyasa to down dog. It's the mat, okay. It seriously sounds like she's making that popcorn in the frying thing. And then step your right foot forward, back heel down. Inhale, one breath all the way up. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Take a vinyasa and do the left side on your own. And so just simple B's to build some heat today. And then hands down, end up in downward facing dog. And walk your hands all the way back until they meet your feet. With the hook, with your index finger and middle finger, grab your big toes and inhale, stretch your chest forward, bend your knees if you need to get more length in your spine. Exhale, fold from your hips, crown of your head down, elbows out, and then straighten and straighten the legs as much as you can, keeping your spine long. So priority is that over your legs getting really straight. And then here's just to catch your breath after doing a couple of B's. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look forward. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And with a flat back inhale, come on up to standing. So bring your feet all the way together. And then keep your left hand on your hip. Pick your right leg up and cross your right ankle over your left thigh like you were doing a thread the needle leg. And then both hands can come back to your hips. Make sure they're level from left to right and square to the front of your mat. And then your knee, it might be wide and all the way out to the side, or it might be facing slightly forward, but keep your hips square first. And then reach your arms all the way up alongside your ears. Do the same thing you always do with your arms. Roll the triceps forward, draw the tailbone down, lift your sternum or the top of your chest up, reach your arms up, and then slowly, if you can, start to take your gaze up higher and higher, and bring your arms as close as they'll go with straight elbows. And bring your hands back down to your hips. Bring your right foot down, hip distance apart from your left. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, fold forward, fingertips down. Inhale, chest wide. And then exhale, walk out into downward facing dog. Inhale, come on forward to plank pose. Exhale, pick your right foot up and draw the knee to the back of your right arm. So have your inner knee touch just the outer edge of the arm. Now hold that in place and bring your right foot across to the center of your mat, just so that you're doing like crow pose on one side. Okay, roll the inner thigh up, hug the outer hip in, and then bring your knee to your nose. Step your right foot through. Line up heel to arch, spinning your back heel down. Keep your right hip squeezed in and inhale up into warrior two, cartwheel up and over. Okay, once you're up, if you need to lengthen your stance out, lengthen it out so that if you bent your front knee, the knee would be over your heel. Okay, press your back leg straight like it just was in planks, the same pose you just did, but just spread out, not on your arms. And then press the right knee open, right hip under until your hip and your knee are both facing the same direction as your toes. Hips level from left to right like you did at the back of your mat in that modified tree pose, and then chest square to the side of your mat, reaching your arms apart, spreading your chest and your upper back evenly. Good. And bend a little bit further. Keep the weight in your right heel and the outer edge of your left foot. Try to hold your eyes still, especially if they're jumpy. Mine jump around a lot. And then cartwheel your hands down to the mat and come up onto your back toes. Plant your left hand down under your shoulder, wrists parallel to the front of your mat. Twist to the right, reach your right arm up, and then look down for stability and step your right foot back on top of your left into side plank. And once you're there, flex your feet, belly in, hips and shoulders stacking. Modify if you need. If you're newer to side plank, stay here. If you're going on just like you did at the back of your mat a second ago, pick your right foot up an inch off of your left. From your hip joint, start to spin the toes up to the ceiling, and then bend your right knee and bring your foot to your inner thigh like tree pose. You can reach down and loop the ankle if you need to. Right? And then hips stay square to the side of the mat, and that might mean your knee comes a little closer to the side, shoulders stacking as well. Good. And then release your top leg back, come into plank pose, and take a vinyasa or back into down dog. Good. And walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Inhale to a flat back once you get there. Exhale your hands to your hips, belly in, and inhale, come all the way up. Okay, second side. So feet together, and then this time cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex the ankle, and then hips square to the front of your mat, and you can always look down to make sure that's happening. And then press the knee wide without letting your hips change, and make sure they're level from left to right. Now reach your arms up. So inner arms, spin them back, outer arms to the front of the mat, then reach them tall, tailbone down, but chest lifting. And work slowly. If your balance is going well today, start to look up. If it goes really well, all the way up, and then bring your arms closer and closer. Good. And then bring your hands to your hips. Lower your left foot down, hip distance apart. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, fold forward. Hands underneath your shoulders again. Inhale, widen your collarbones. And exhale, walk out into downward facing dog. Okay. And then inhale, come forward into plank. Pick your left foot up. Exhale, left knee, left outer arm. Okay, and then shoulders square, elbows straight. Keep all of this. Bring your left foot across just towards the center line of your mat, like a half crow pose. Work your outer hip to do that. Keep firming the right thigh. And then knee to your nose. Step your foot through. Spin your back heel down. Line up heel to arch. Squeeze your left hip under your body. And then cartwheel open into warrior two. And adjust the length of your stance if you need. And then seal the outer edge of your back foot enough so that the whole foot feels evenly grounded, and then firm the thigh so your knee is straight. And then let your left hip wrap under you so the knee moves open and your hip, your knee, and your toes are in one line. Then turn your chest away, right ribs wrapping back until you're square, and reach your arms apart. There we go. And then steady eyes. Drop into the bend. Keep lifting your left hip point up off of your left thigh so your hips are level from your left to your right, just like they were at the back of the mat. And then maybe bend a little further, re-anchor the back leg as well. And then cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Come up onto your back toes. Take a moment to plant your right hand down. Turn your chest open once that hand and wrist are well aligned. Reach your left arm up. And then look down and step your left foot on top of your right into side plank. Flex your feet. Modify if you did on the other side. Stack your hips and shoulders. And then it's just a movement from your hip joint. Pick your left leg up, turn the toes up towards the ceiling, and then bend the knee and bring your foot to your inner thigh. And then once it's there, the left hip really likes to drop back so that your knee faces straight up, but take the left hip over your right, work from the outer hip, and the knee will face a little closer to the side of your mat. And then chest wide, try to touch the ceiling with your left hand. Release your top leg back into side plank, come into regular plank, and either vinyasa or press back into down dog. Good. Okay, walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet again. This time, bend your knees and slide your hands underneath your feet for Padahastasana, and bend your knees a lot to get that to happen first. And then keep the bend in your knees. Inhale, stretch your chest forward, and then hold the length. Exhale, fold from your hips. Let your neck relax and the crown of your head reach down, and then straighten your legs out any amount more. Okay? The priorities are always trying to keep your spine long first before you add the legs for these folds. That's not always the case, but when you've got your hands that close to your feet, you have to do it that way. Right. And then inhale, pull your chest forward and look up. And exhale, walk yourself out into downward facing dog. It would not be an everything under the sun, everything but the kitchen sink class without a little core, so look forward. Janice is laughing. Hop all the way through and lie down on your back. And once you're down on your back, hug your knees into your chest. Okay. Keep your right leg in, stretch your left leg out, hover it a couple of inches above the floor. Then interlace your fingers behind your head. As you exhale, twist yourself up and over to the right, and then reach your arms out and press your palms together. Try to get the back of your left arm to touch your outer right thigh. And then stretch your right leg up to the ceiling. So you can get both shoulder blades and heads off of the floor. And then lower your right leg down to meet your left on an exhale. And inhale, draw it back up to the ceiling. Exhale, right leg down. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift it up. Last time, exhale, lower it down. Hold it down. Turn your chest to center and separate your arms. And now hug your right knee in again. Lower your left leg to hit the mat. Shift your hips to the right. Drop your knee to the left into a spinal twist. There's your reward. Are you happy now? It's all about Janice's happiness. Michelle, you get nothing. You have to do a pre-assigned amount of classes on here with me, and then you get to have what you want. This is done like everyone. Okay, come back up and hug both knees in. And now the other side. So left one in, right leg out. Take your fingers behind your head, and exhale, twist. Okay, so as you come up and across, try to get both shoulder heads up, collarbones wide, and then reach your arms out and press your palms together. Good. And then stretch your left leg up to the ceiling. Steer those toes to the back of your mat. On your exhale, lower your left leg to meet your right. And then inhale, bring it straight back up. Exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down and hold. Chest to center, arms apart. Hug the knee back in. Lower your right leg. Shift your hips to the right or left. Drop your knee to the right and twist. Good. All right. Steady breath. Just let go for a second before we stand back up and do a few more standing poses. All right, now come back up, hug your knees in, rock up to seated, and either press back into down dog or press into plank, pick up, jump back, and take a vinyasa. Okay, look forward at your hands, bend your knees, step or hop to meet them. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, sink your hips, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Lean forward and twist. Hook your left elbow to your right knee. Hands in prayer, and just keep them there for now. So make sure your knees have stayed parallel. Squeeze your right hip in and back. We get you like a mini wall right here. Good. Okay, now start to firm the tops of your thighs together, right in the sides of your hips. Shift the weight into your right foot. Keep the right hip firmed in. Make your left foot light. Come up onto the toes, and then slowly send your left leg all the way back so you end up in twisted crescent pose. And you can look down and even reset up once you get there. And then press the back leg straight. Lift the hips up a little bit. Good. Keep your right knee straight ahead, and then twist. Excellent. Take 2 more breaths, using the exhales to revolve open, the inhales to lengthen your sternum forward and press your back heel back. And then bring your hands to the mat and just simply left foot forward to meet your right. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, chair pose. And right into the other side. Exhale, hands to prayer, lean forward, right elbow, left knee. And then once you're there, hips square, and it'll usually mean dragging your right heel back a little bit. Upper back into your chest, and especially if your lower back is really flexible and bendy, you can think about hugging the sit bones together, keeping your knees together as well. Good. And then start to think about your alignment. Shift into your left foot, keep the hips squeezed in. Come up onto your right toes, belly in, and then shoot the right leg back slowly. Adjust if you need. And then right into the twist. Back leg straight, hips up a drop, left knee ahead, twisting from your upper back. Good. All right. And then bring your hands to the mat, step your back foot forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bend your knees, sink your hips, chair pose. And then bring your hands to prayer. Sit yourself all the way down. Let your heels lift so you're in a little squat at the front of your mat. And now spin your knees to the left. Okay, so your knees will face the left. Turn your chest to face the front of the mat. Okay, we're going to set up for a twisted crow. So if you're newer to this, you can just stay here in the twist, working your left shoulder across towards your right hip. Otherwise, wiggle a little. Align your left hand a little further back towards your feet, and then shift back and place your right hand shoulder distance away from that. Right? And then lift your hips up, shift your chest forward, bend your elbows like you're doing chaturanga. And then once you have that platform set up, think about spinning and flipping your knees and feet up to the ceiling. Good. And then draw the belly in, and if you can straighten your arms a little bit, straighten your arms. Keep your knees bent today, Michelle. There. Good. And then lower yourself back down and spin the other way. So turn your knees the opposite direction. So don't worry if you get up all the way. It's just chaturanga in the arms and chair twist in your lower body. Okay, so the more you wiggle your right shoulder across towards your left hip, and then I find it easier to place my hands in line with my heels, my right hand in line with my left heel here, and then left hand behind that, and sit back, shift your shoulders back, and then bend your elbows and lean forward. And once you have the upper body set up, then think about twisting. So you flip your feet up towards the ceiling, the right hip up towards the ceiling, so your knees and feet stay stacked. And then if you can work to straighten your arms out a little bit, think press the floor away from you, belly in, and I almost think umbrella dome with my upper back. And then come back to center, spin your knees forward, straighten your legs out, fold forward, heel toe your feet to hip distance apart, and just grab your elbows and hang here for a second. Nice work. That was pretty much everything. Core, arm balances, externals, neutrals, stretching, engaged. I got it all in. Now I just back bends and cool down. That's it. Right, hands down. We're going to do different ones today. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, look forward, and then exhale, either step into down dog or take a full vinyasa through to down dog. Just taking advantage of that one. All right, inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, lower halfway down. Take an inhale once you're there, and then exhale all the way down to the mat. And uncurl your toes and bring your feet together, arms alongside of your body, palms facing the ceiling. And then forehead on the floor. Keep your hands down, your hip points glued. On an inhale, lift your legs, your shoulders, and your head up off of the mat. Okay, roll your inner thighs to the ceiling, hugging your outer ankles in. Work from the upper back. Good. Float your arms up off of the mat as well. Begin to bring your arms closer and closer together, and then interlace your fingers. Reach your arms back, lift your chest up. Keep breathing. Good. Okay, now leave your upper body like this. Lower your feet down hip distance with straight knees. Bring your hands underneath your elbows, and on your next inhale, come up into upward facing dog. Do a little modified second series back bends. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. And then inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale once you're down, and then exhale to the mat. Okay, set up the exact same way you just did, Shalabhasana with your hands down. Okay, then inhale, hands down, but everything else up. We'll go a little faster this time. Keep breathing, lift your arms up off of the mat as well. And then keep your thighs hugging together, but bend your knees. Bring your heels in towards your sit bones. With your hands, grab the outer edges of your ankles. And now kick your shins back to lift your chest up a little bit more, rolling the inner thighs up and spreading through your toes. Good. And then from here, just exhale, lower all the way down and rest. Do one more, and then it's cool down time. You guys look like... From this angle, it's lovely. All right, set up for Shalabhasana again. Okay, and then hands down, but everything else comes up on an inhale. And then you keep breathing steadily. Arms come up, bend your knees, reach back, grab your feet, keep the work in your upper back, add the legs, kick your shins back, spread your toes. Neck feels long. You can look just slightly up. And then this one, from here, you're going to go straight into upward facing dog. So as you do that, you'll straighten your legs, bring your hands under your elbows, and inhale, chest wide. Good. And then exhale, up and back into downward facing dog. And hop through and sit in Dandasana with your legs out in front of you. All right. So hands next to your hips, just sit up tall for a moment and let go of the back bends. Okay, anchor your heels. Straighten your knees so your thighs are pressing down, your sit bones are anchored. Good. And then reach your arms up to the ceiling, inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Go a little softer, just did some back bending. So keep your sit bones down, inhale, chest wide, and then exhale, fold. Neck can relax. And you keep working other portions of your body, especially if your hamstrings are tighter. The only way your hamstrings are really ever going to open is if you encourage your thighs to engage and you encourage your hip flexors to work, pulling your hip points towards your thigh bones, keeping your sit bones down. Then eventually your hamstrings will open. But until then, if you just slacken these poses or work from your spine, rounding it, your hamstrings really won't go anywhere. And then inhale halfway up, exhale, inhale, sit all the way up, and then bringing the soles of your feet together, knees wide into a big diamond shape. So you can pull them in all the way or you can keep them wide out in front of you. I like them wide out, but you can do them this way too. And sit up tall for an inhale, and then exhale, fold. And if you've got the diamond shape, you can round your back. If you've got your feet all the way in, you can do traditional Baddha Konasana with a flat back, sit bones down, elbows in, or you can walk your hands out in front of you. You can also let your spine round. There's a rounded version of this. It can be a lot softer. So it should never feel like anything in your knees, especially the outer edges in these hip opening poses. So if it is, please come out of it, back out of it, and do cross legs and fold. That's a much better choice than it hurting your knees. Then inhale, sit yourself all the way up and stretch your legs out in front of you. You set yourself up into double pigeon or Sukhasana. So either ankle over knee, knee over ankle, or if you have to really torque at your ankles or your knee is really high in the air, just cross your shins and fold forward from there with crossed legs. And then once you're folded, just let yourself be still, rest down into the mat. And close your eyes. If your forehead doesn't quite reach the floor and you want to put a block under your forehead, you're welcome to do that, or put your hands under your forehead as well. These ladies get a big pat on the back for doing excellent work. You too. I can't see you, but I'm assuming you did great stuff. And the whole point of the practice is to do all these poses, to pay attention, and then by paying attention to what's happening right now, hopefully your mind quiets down a little bit, your body becomes a little bit more rested, and you have the ability to hold still further. And from that, you have a restful Shavasana. It gives you a little bit of clarity. And then come up and just switch legs. Put the other foot on top or the other shin in front if you're doing Sukhasana. And then once you're situated, fold forward and relax. So last pose before Shavasana, let yourself get still. Pay attention to your breathing, slowly softening it back to its natural rhythm. And then inhale, sit yourself all the way up. Lie down on your back, hug your knees into your chest one final time. And once you feel ready to do so, set yourself up into Shavasana, legs wide and flopped open, arms wide, palms easily turning up to the ceiling. And the wider you take your arms, the easier that is. And the same place you started, body still, eyes closed. Now, instead of controlling your breath, just watch it moving in and out and use it as a tool to pay attention. That's all you're trying to do with this practice, is pay attention to what's happening right now. It's really the only thing you've got. So use your breath, watch it in and out, and beyond that, rest your body fully after a really nice, well-rounded everything you want.